welcome to this live stream of tonight's teaching raids, which are going to be Fire on Thunder Peak and Temple of the Deathwyrm. Actually, I think we're going to do Temple of the Deathwyrm first. And if you are new to these raids, or even if you're not, you might not be aware of just a nice quick little shortcut, is when you first come into Evening Star, you can jump into the Hall of Heroes and turn right back around, and then go to the Thunder Peak. It saves you, 15 seconds of running. It's a lazy little tip. Alright, well, so I'm going to start forming up the folks that are signed up for this event.
Thank you.
Hey Ziggs, welcome. Hey Allie, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome Renar. Hey Spice Locks, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we got one more person that may be joining us.
My mic loud enough.
Yep. Someone in the stream is asking if we're going to be doing 10 skulls. No, we will not be doing 10 skulls. We will not be doing any skulls tonight. We will not be doing Reaper mode for any teaching raids.
Hey, I'm only level 24. I mean, geez, guys, give me a break.
Ooh, getting some lag. And that can be a real bad thing in these raids, especially Temple of the Deathwyrm. Welcome to those just tuning in to the live stream. We are going to be doing Temple of the Deathwyrm and Fire on Thunder Peak as teaching raids. If you haven't tuned into one of these events before,
Can we do anything to cure that?
What'd you say, buddy?
Yeah, can we do anything to get rid of the lag?
We're just gonna have to wait it out. If you haven't attended, you haven't watched one of these events before, this is a weekly event that we do in the winter and spring, where we're basically teaching new folks how to do these raids. It's something we've been doing for several years now. It's the fourth year that we've been doing these, and each year we've worked through every raid in the game twice, and it's been a lot of fun. We've met a lot of new people that way. It's been fun teaching our favorite raids to new folks, and so we're just going to be going through everything, explaining as much of the raid as we reasonably can. I'm going to be focused mostly on the people that are signed up to learn the event here in-game, so my ability to focus on the live chat for the people watching is going to be limited, but I'm going to try to, if you have questions in the live chat, because I know there's going to be people watching too that are learning which is awesome. I'm really happy. This is the first year we've been live streaming these events, and I'm really happy that the live stream has made it so that these events have even bigger reach than in years past. Hey, what's up, Sly? Thanks for tuning in, man. Okay, it looks like it's just going to be us guys, so we're going to go with a short crew. So just to make it nice and simple, I think we're just going to do epic normal for our Temple of Deathwyrm. I kind of wanted to do epic hard, but you know, with this short of a crew, I think we'll just do normal and make it a nice, relaxing teaching event, okay? So if you need to pause your bravery bonuses, you have time to do that. And I'm not sure that there's anything special that you need to bring. I know that I asked you guys when you signed up, but I want to know who here, like, if you've never done this raid before, we're going to be doing Temple of the Deathwyrm first. Or maybe if you've done it a couple times.
Never done either one of them.
I haven't either.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh, wow, okay. So 3 folks have never done it, and Renar, you've done it once. Alright. I'm guessing, Renar, having done it once, you probably felt like you had no idea what was going on. Okay. Well, we're going to try to make sense of it for you. Temple of Deathwyrm, so this is what we're going to do first, folks, is Temple of Deathwyrm. It's a pretty convoluted raid. There's a lot going on. For those of you who have joined teaching raids in the past, you know, it's kind of like, you know, Von 5, for example, or Titan, the pre-raid, where there was just so many different things going on. So I'm going to break it all down for you. You can go ahead and talk to Ingrid here at the start and tell her you want to go to the entrance of Aglaras's lair. Should be the top option. We got a red name rare up, so let's go ahead and kill him. Just for fun. And his chest's right back here in the corner. Now I want you to notice something, and that is that we're appearing here right where, you know, for those, you know, when you did the flagging and you killed Sarva, or whatever her name is, the dragon emissary, the one you have to kill to flag for the raid. Notice that that's right here. So we zoned in right to that point. But and even though she's always up, she won't be here if you teleport directly to here. So the important point is that if you're ever with a group and there's somebody that needs to flag, they need to be separate from the group that's doing the raid, at least if anybody has stepped in here. Because if somebody's stepped into the zone and they go to run to her, she won't be there. See how she's, I mean, you can see she's not there now. Her chest is, but she won't be there even if somebody runs from the start. So again, somebody that's with the group that needs to flag will need to drop group and go flag separately from the group and then rejoin the group after they flag. Otherwise, they're going to be very disappointed after they make that long run and she's not there. I forgot to pick up the raid. I totally thought I picked it up. Can somebody share it with me, please?
You can't share these, Ginger. They're grayed out for sharing.
Okay, I'll be right back. Somebody's asking for an invite. But it's not somebody who was signed up, so I'm not really sure If it's just somebody that thought they could join at the time of, or what. Alright, let me figure this out. I think we might have somebody else that wants to join us. I'm gonna actually go ahead and step in. Hey Dooku, welcome. We're just stepping in now. Okay, cool. Do you know how to get to the raid? Do you know how to talk to the person at the entrance to this layer zone and teleport directly here? Okay, great. And have you done this raid before? But have you ever done it before? Because like I said, this is for folks that are newer to the raid and that are still learning it. Okay. I think everybody here has been to a teaching raid before except for maybe Dooku, but I do want to make sure that everybody knows that if you have questions at any point in the raid, we'll be doing 2 raids tonight. Just ask at any point. This is a learning event, and if you're ever not sure what you're supposed to be doing or what's going on, or you want more explanation, please ask, and don't hesitate to interrupt me. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep talking. I'm going to explain both raids as much as I reasonably can. And, as always, our goal with this event is to, we're not trying to make you experts at this raid. We just want to give you, a reasonable level of competency with it so that you can feel comfortable, joining a pug and have a decent understanding of what's going on. With most raids, it's going to take, some repetition before you really feel like you've mastered it, or at least you really feel like you're on top of it. And this is a raid, like for those of you who were here last week, and you did the Titan raid with us, or the the Bond 5-6 raid before. These are all raids that you can do them many times and still feel a little overwhelmed and not quite sure of everything that's going on, because there is a lot involved in this one. Fire on Thunder Peak is a lot simpler, so I thought I'd get we'd do the more intricate one first. We're just going to wait for Dooku to get here, and then we're going to get started. And we are live streaming this event. All teaching raids this year are going to be live streamed. We have 19 people watching us now. Welcome to those that are just tuning in to the live stream. Dooku, it looks like you're in Giant Hold. We are doing a Temple of the Deathwyrm in the Thunder Peaks. Hey Murphle, I see your comment there. Well, maybe after watching these, you'll get the motivation, or maybe you'll feel more comfortable. What server do you play on? Oh, Rock Sign Productions. We're on Sarlona right now. Oh, you're on Wayfinder. It's a pretty slow server. So, let's see. Before he looks like he's on his way, so I can say that this raid, you can have people join late, right up until you get to the shrine room, basically, which is right before the end fight. And even at that point, once it locks out, people can still actually enter the raid. They can get to this room right here, but if you look and you see that portal in front of us, that portal will disappear once you get to the shrine room. And so while people would be able to enter the raid and get here, they wouldn't be able to progress into the rest of the raid, and they would be locked out from looting, for example. But they could technically get completion. And I will be sure to point out the lockout point once we get to it. This should be nice and easy because we're just doing epic normal. Yeah, I don't know what the busiest server is, but Sarlona is definitely one of the top 3. At least it was when we used to be able to see the server traffic through the DDO Oracle. And there definitely was a time when Sarlona was the highest, but whether or not it's the highest right now, I don't know. But it's definitely one of the more populated, one of the more active servers. I haven't spent much time on the other servers, but I did video projects on Thalanis and Kenneth. And when I did it on Thalanis, it was a couple years ago, and Thalanis was, from what I could tell, slower than Sarlona. I have no idea today, other than the fact that I have heard recently from a few different people that came over to Sarlona from Thalanis, and they said Thalanis is pretty slow. And I'm just wrapping up a video project that I'm doing on Kenneth, and Kenneth seems a little bit slower than Sarlona. Not as slow as Thalanis, but it definitely, and that's judging by the LFMs. You know, it could be the case that maybe most people on Kenneth run by, don't post LFMs, but just judging by the number of LFMs that I see, it definitely seems like Kenneth's a little bit slower than Sarlona. If you're just tuning in, sorry for the delay. We had somebody who was joining us at the last minute, and they're taking a while to get into the raid. Alright, Dooku is in. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Sorry for the delay. Let's go ahead and get some buffs. No problem. We will be fighting mostly undead. And let's go ahead and jump through the portal. So in this zone we have the first of 6 mirror puzzles. If when you did the flagging, you probably saw that there was a mirror puzzle to do. And the goal with each of these mirror puzzles is just to direct the laser beam from the starting laser. Here it's it's in the south west corner. We have to direct the laser all the way over to the relay crystal, and in this first puzzle, the first relay crystal is over here in the northeast. And so there are 6 of these mirror puzzles in this raid, which is a little overdone, but it is what it is. And so this can actually go really quick if you have people that know the solutions and just get on it and knock it out really quick. The puzzles are the same every time. They don't randomize or anything like that, and they're pretty intuitive to figure out. But each, if you didn't do it when you flagged, or if you don't remember if it's been a while, there's just 8 position mirrors, and they just, you know, reflect the light to whatever direction that you position the mirror. From each mirror, you know, the light can only be sent in 2 different directions, you know, basically 90 degrees one way or 90 degrees another. Make sure that you don't stand in the light. It will insta-kill you. You can actually move through it safely. I'm going to try to do that for the live stream. But because we're getting this lag, who knows? It's kind of scary to run through it when it's lagging, because if you even stop for just an instant, it can get you. And if you're ever doing this like with your friends or guildies and you want to troll them, tell them to go into the light and it'll give them a weapon buff or something. And it's always fun. So usually there'll be 1 or 2 people working on the mirrors. And then what everybody else can do is just help clear trash. It's nice if you can help keep trash off the people doing the mirror puzzles. Now there is a special death mechanic in in this raid. And
Ouch.
so we got some dead people here. Notice that there's a wraith that spawns and it says Keeper, in this case Keeper of Spice Locks. Now Spice Locks won't be able to be raised until we kill their keeper, but there is a workaround, and normally I don't like to teach workarounds when we do raids or sort of non-legitimate things, but this has been around since this raid has been around, and everybody does it. In fact, I can pretty much guarantee you nobody's going to kill your keeper. They're going to expect you to use the workaround, and the way it works is you just need to run away from your soul stone. And if you run away from your soul stone so far that you bounce back, and you do that twice, your keeper will disappear and you will be able to be raised. So if you ever die, just run away from your soul stone twice. But that special death mechanic isn't in play in every place of this raid. So like when we're doing some different puzzles later, there is no death mechanic at play. But during the mirror puzzles and during the end fight, that mechanic is at play. And so, like I said, if you die where you have to deal with that death mechanic, just run away from your soul stone twice and then announce when you're ready for a raise.
Says I'm out of range.
It says you're out of range of what?
Soul Stone, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You want to run so far away from your soul stone that you bounce back to it automatically. You just keep running away from it.
Alright, I'm back.
Alright. So the first mirror puzzle is now done. There is a portal to the next zone in the northeast of the zone. Go ahead and go through that purple portal. And now we're sort of in the same zone, but now we're on like the shadow side. And so all throughout this raid, we're going to be bouncing back and forth between the light side and the shadow side. And so here is the second of 6 mirror puzzles. And if you're interested, the solutions to these mirror puzzles are on the wiki. I actually don't even have the solutions memorized because, like I said earlier, I find them to be pretty intuitive to do. In most instances, when you direct the laser, you know, there's only one way for the laser to go that sort of makes sense. So like at this particular junction, you know, there's only another mirror the one way. If I shoot it the other way, there's nothing there. And you just want to keep bouncing the laser until you get it to the relay crystal. You're going to find that if you don't join a pug, a lot of people are just going to be sort of piking on the stairs. And they may be doing that because they're lazy. They may be doing that because they don't realize that there's something that they could be doing. But like I said, it can be really helpful to help keep trash off of the person doing the puzzle. Or just killing trash in general in and the trash continuously respawns. I think trash will stop respawning though once the mirror puzzle is done for each portion. Is there anybody who would like to do the mirror puzzle, like to try it? You're not going to screw anything up, so there's no penalty for not doing it right. It's really easy to do. Another good point here is that if you look up, you'll see the Shadow Dracolich, Aglarasa, in the, let's see, the center east part. If you look up, you'll see that she's above the archway. Now she's, somebody's going to get her aggro, and she's going to be breathing her negative energy onto them. So if you happen to get the aggro, then just go under the archway underneath her, and she won't be able to hit you there. So for those of you, if you're watching on the live stream and you're new to this, if you get the dragon's aggro and she's breathing on you, just stand here, and you can stand here for the duration of this part, and that way her breath weapon won't be hitting you or anybody else. Nobody should be attacking Aglarasa at this point, by the way. She's just there to give us a hard time. Now, I would recommend to be very mindful of the laser. If you do this in a pug, nobody is going to be, watching for you to be out of the way of the laser. Like, nobody's going to give you a courtesy of saying the laser's incoming. They're just going to do it. And if you're in the way, you're going to die. So like I said, best to stay out of the path of the laser. Also, the laser is very buggy. So look right now where the laser stops here, and notice that it should be bouncing off of this mirror, but it's not. And so what you need to do to sort of correct it is just to keep turning the mirror. Sometimes you have to turn it all the way around 2 or 3 times to get it to bounce. So if you're watching the live stream, see, like it didn't bounce it here either. So it happens, and it's always been that way. What's really embarrassing is when you're the one doing the laser, and then you kill yourself with the laser. And I've done that many times. And then all your guildies laugh at you. The laser is being particularly temperamental tonight. I don't know if it's because of the lag that's been going on. See, I just killed myself with the laser. I thought I could flip the mirror around fast enough, but apparently not.
Just to illustrate the hazard, of course.
Oh yeah, I was just doing that for demonstrative reasons, of course.
Yeah.
I'm ready for raise.
Incoming.
Thank you. If you're watching the live stream, notice that I should have pointed it out. for those of you who are newer. But I wasn't directly in the path of the laser, I was just sort of close to it. But it was close enough to get me. In this particular puzzle, there are 2 lasers and 2 relay crystals. So there's going to be lots of light beams to avoid. Like I said, if anybody wants to try using these, to try playing with the mirrors, by all means. It's definitely a good idea to learn these, because if you join a pug, it's just going to make things go faster. And sometimes you'll get, like, if there's 2 mirror puzzles, you can get one person working on each, or if there's just one, sometimes one person will work from the, from the laser, and another person will work from the relay crystal, and just meet in the middle.
So where are you ultimately trying to reach with the laser?
So we're trying to take the laser to the relay crystal. So here, like, we already have the laser to the one relay crystal here by the archway. They're on each side of the archway in this particular puzzle.
Gotcha. Almost got me.
I wasn't even trying. You got that mirror? Okay, cool, thank you. Okay, so the portal is up. The portal here is always, on the shadow side, the portal will always be here in the center. So go ahead and go through the portal. So this is the first part that can confuse the shit out of people. So this is the first of 2 different puzzle selection rooms. And there are 3 different puzzles to choose from. One of them at random will always be locked out in every instance. So you can see here we've got a portal. The portal we came from is the one in the east. And then you can see there's a portal in the south and a portal in the north. And then the portal to the west is shut off, is locked out. So that's the particular puzzle that's blocked off for us this time. The puzzles, it's always the same 3 puzzles for this puzzle selection chamber, and they're always in the same location. And you can actually read these little runes here, and it would tell you what they are. Oh, actually, I guess you got to be a dwarf or have high intelligence to read them. In any event, the puzzle to the south is always what's known as the jump room. And the puzzle to the west, which is blocked off this time, is the portal maze. And then the portal to the north is always the trap room. Now, the portal maze is blocked off, so we won't be able to show that to you. But I will say that I have a short video on my YouTube channel that explains how it works, because it's a puzzle that can be really confusing to people who are new and don't know how it works. But it's actually a very, very simple maze of just left and right choices. So if you're interested in that, just go to my YouTube channel sometime and search for how to do the portal maze in Temple of the Deathwyrm. It should come right up. And so we're gonna do the trap room, but I want you to see the jump room. So everybody go ahead and go south. Only one of these puzzles has to be done, and it doesn't matter which one you do. And you don't even have to do the same one as your party. For example, if your party came, if you joined late, remember I said you can come in late? If you joined late and the party was already way ahead of you, and let's say they did the portal maze, and you didn't want to do that, but the jump room was an option, you could just come in here. There's nothing to fight. It's just, if you have good Mario skills, if you had good jump and climbing skills, go ahead and try to jump and climb. All you're trying to do here is climb up to the top, and there's a ledge up there, like a turret, that has a phylactery that once you get up there, you have to destroy it. And then you can progress. And all that's required is to complete any one of these puzzles to continue on to the next, onto the raid, the rest of the raid. But I do understand that a lot of people hate like Mario portions of the game, where there's a lot of jumping and climbing, coal chamber, the pit, etc. So I just wanted you to see what this is like. Again, there's nothing to fight. You just have to climb to the top. There's some really tricky jumps. But now that you've seen what this is like, let's go right back out the way we came in. Just go back to the bottom and go through the portal. Now we're back in the puzzle selection chamber, and we're going to go to the north, into the trap room. There used to be trash that spawned in this first room. I think they took that out. So, lots of spell wards here. On normal, you could probably just run through it. In fact, I want you to go ahead and run through it because I want you to see what that's like. To see if you can survive it. If you die, we'll just raise you. Because the reason why I want you to run through it is because if you join a pug on normal, they're probably all just going to run through it.
I'm chained.
Just going to wait for everybody to get to the top. And if you have a trapper and they can work on those traps, that's great. If you're doing Epic Elite, you might not be able to run through them. If you have high hit points, high PRR, high MRR, you might be able to. But if you're doing Epic Elite, there's maybe a good chance that you have to wait for the trapper to get them. So this part, there's a lever here in the back corner that when you pull it, it will raise the gate at the end of the upper hallway. But it only raises it for a few seconds. And you can see their air jets, they're going to blow you back. So go ahead and try to go through that gate. Don't progress any further. Now if you're quick, if you have like Favorite Soul Wings or Abundant Step or Snow Slide or something, you can actually pull the lever and get over there before it closes. I'm going to demonstrate that for everybody to see. Hell yeah. And there's a phylactery on the other side, and you just want to destroy that. This is like a big, funny looking gem. And there's also a lever here that will open the gate as well. So once you get one person through, the person that got through can just let everybody else through. And sometimes groups will have, because you can let people come in late, they'll keep a person here at this lever, just basically they'll just park here until then, people get to the end fight, and then they'll go to the end fight. Just, waiting here for any latecomers to come through. I think Wooter's the last one to come through. So for those of you who didn't see it, there was a phylactery right over here in the corner, just a big funny looking gem. You just got to DPS it down. It doesn't fight back or anything. I think it's just considered a construct. It's pretty easy to kill. Just a sack of hit points. Go ahead and go through the portal. And so like I said, it wouldn't have mattered which puzzle we did. Like some people could go through the jump room still. Like you could go back and go through the jump room if you wanted to. It doesn't matter as long as one of the puzzles is done. Now I want everybody to run to the western edge. Everybody that's learning. High alerts don't have to. You guys already know this. And I just want you to see that now we're above that zone where we first came in. Oh, Bolo, thanks for working on that. So, for example, if you needed to go back through because somebody was lost or they were dead or something, you could just jump down and go back through. That's right where we came in down there. And in fact, if you look up and you see where Argalarasa is shooting down at us, and again, if you have her aggro, just stand under her. Just stand in the archway under her. She won't be able to hit you, and that way she's sort of taken care of. But we're going to go up there where she is right now. That's actually the where the 5th and 6th mirror puzzles are. So we're on mirror puzzle number 3 right now. Watch out, Spice Locks, you're gonna get nailed there.
Whoops.
Yeah, I saw that, Wooter. That light beam was very forgiving to you. And if you want to die in the light beam, go for it. Like, I mean, you know, in our teaching aids, one of the things we want you to see is, you know, what happens when things go wrong. So if you want to just experience it, so you know, so you know what to expect. I promise that you won't die in real life. I mean, you eventually will die in real life, but not because of this laser beam. Go ahead and turn it a couple more times, Dooku. That mirror that you were just turning, go ahead and turn it a couple more times. There you go. No, you turned it too many times. Yeah, it's massive damage. So even if you're just curious, like, hey, will the beam kill me? Go ahead and step in it. It's all good. Now is the time to play around and learn. Okay, our mirror puzzle here is done, and the portal to the next zone is in the southeast. So go ahead and go through that portal. I'm curious, for those watching the live stream, who has not done this raid before or is still learning it? We do have folks watching the live stream right now that are learning along with you guys too. I know there's at least one person, but I've just asked to see how many people are still learning it. Actually, this puzzle is easier if you turn the starting laser 90 degrees. This is the only mirror puzzle that it makes more sense to actually... You can rotate the laser in all of them, but this is the one where it's going to be a lot easier if you turn it 90 degrees to begin with. And we're done. Go ahead and go through the purple portal at the top of the center steps. So that's 4 mirror puzzles. And now we're in the Bone Guardian chamber. In here, all we need to do is DPS this Bone Guardian down as fast as possible. It'll be really easy on normal and hard. If you're doing it on Epic Elite and you have light DPS, it can be problematic because he will actually... He sacrifices the trash in the room to regenerate himself if you don't kill him fast enough. So you can sit here and have to beat him down over and over and over. I don't know if there is a limit to it, if that could hypothetically go on forever. But I know I've been in groups where we've had to beat him down like 3 times. So if you're doing higher difficulties, you really want to dump on him. We've got at least 5 folks watching the live stream that are learning along with you guys. Totally awesome. Okay, I want you to step out to the western edge, and I just want to show you, like before, that we're above the zones that we were previously in. So again, if you needed to go back through, you could just jump down and go right back through the same way we just came from. Notice that but there's two tiers down. So that was the 3rd mirror puzzle, and then if you went down again, it would be the 1st mirror puzzle when we first came in. And right now we're doing the 5th mirror puzzle. Twitch 420, we are on Sarlona. Alright, we are done with the 5th mirror puzzle. Go ahead and go through the portal, purple portal that's in the southeast of the zone. And welcome to your 6th and final mirror puzzle. This one is oblique, or all the mirrors are oblique as opposed to they were at right angles with respect to the zone in the previous puzzles. Now they're at 45-degree angles. Because they're at 45s with respect to the zone, that tends to throw some people off, and they find it a little bit more challenging than the others. But it's really not any more difficult than the other mirror puzzles. Is there anybody that would like to practice? It's like we got plenty of time. This is the last one, the last opportunity to practice on the mirror puzzle. You want to do it, Renar? You can finish this one up. Renar's working on the laser side. If there's somebody else that wants to try doing the mirrors, you can work from the relay crystal backwards. The relay crystal's here in the center. And you can set up the mirrors from that point, if you want to. So, for those of you watching the live stream, Tiny DDO there. I assume that's Slyminster. I believe that's my former guildie, Slyminster, old friend of mine. I guess it was a little over 3 years ago that he and I, with a little bit of brainstorming, he and I came up with the idea of doing these teaching raids on Sarlona. He came to me one day and said, "Hey, you know, I'd love for the guild to do some sort of outreach and you know, I talked to him about how I had been thinking of, you know, doing something similar, and we did some talking and a little bit of brainstorming, and what we came up with is teaching raids. And, you know, like I said, this is our 4th year doing them, and it's just been awesome. I've had so much fun teaching these raids to first-timers, and, you know, they've really got a lot of attention from the community over the years. And we've had, the devs have taken notice of it. We've had people come from other servers make tunes on Sarlona just so they could participate in the teaching raids, and it's been really awesome. We've met a lot of new people, and there have even been people like that we met in our teaching raids that we've gone on to run with regularly. And in fact,
are there multiple solutions to this puzzle, or is there only one?
There's only one.
Okay.
In fact, Wooter here, who is my guildie, she was a newbie in our teaching raids last year. She actually joined every single one of the teaching raids last year. And she just wouldn't go away, so we decided to bring her into the guild. It just made sense. You know, we were running with her. It was a good fit. And so now, this year, you know, last year she attended them all as a newbie from outside of the guild, and this year she's attending them as an insider, as part of the guild, helping out. So it's very cool. I think it's really cool that she's now, you know, sort of seeing both sides of these events. Hey, Enigmas, thanks. So if you tuned in late, you know, we are just doing Epic Normal. We had a little bit of a smaller crew, and I know we could have done Epic Hard and it would have been just fine, but I always like these teaching raids just to be really low stress learning moments where, you know, I don't want people to worry about staying alive, and I just want people to learn the mechanics of the raid. If we had had a full crew, I was going to do Epic Hard. If you're stuck, let me know. Actually, I'll give you a little clue. This one here needs to go that way. So take it from there. See if you can figure it out from there. He almost got me. Well, Twitch, I don't know everybody here. You know, like, over half, 5 of the people in this group are people that are, like, new to the raid and learning it. And so, you know, like, I do know, for example, that Spicelocks is a newer player. He's quite a new player. But, like, Aliania and Dooku, who are people here to learn the raid, I don't know if they're new. New to the game, that is. And then my guildies are Bolo, Grub, Musk, and Wooter. So usually I have a couple more of my own guildies in these runs, but it was just kind of a slower night, but I usually like to stack the deck with about half of my guildies just to help make sure things are a smooth run. Good job, you got it. Everybody go through the portal at the top of the steps in the center. And now we are entering the second puzzle selection chamber. And so these are similar to the first puzzle selection chamber. There's going to be 3 puzzles. Always the same 3 puzzles. One of them will always be locked out at random. And they'll always be in the same location. So the one that's blocked off is a puzzle called Gravity. Now, if you're ever with in a pug and the raid leader insists upon doing that puzzle, don't ever run with that person again. The puzzle is awful, and we never do it in High Lords. And this brings up an important point. There's never going to be a scenario in any of these puzzle selection chambers in which a group would be forced to do a particular puzzle, because you're always going to have an option of two of them. So there's never a scenario, for example, where somebody would be forced to do gravity. Now, back when this raid first came out, some groups would like to do it because there is an extra chest there. It's just a junk chest, but when this stuff came out, it was the highest level random loot in the game, so people were trying for, +5 tomes or whatever. And in any event, it's a puzzle that requires quite a bit of coordinating. It's like a sort of a 3D maze, and there's a gravity reversal button, and to get to certain portions of the maze you have to reverse the gravity and then have people go to like half a dozen different, maybe 6 or 8 different locations within that maze to stand on these pressure plates, and all the pressure plates have to be active at the same time to like open the way to the end. And so, like I said, it just requires a lot of coordination. If people don't know where to go, then the leader has to sit there and hand pick and direct everybody to all of these individual pressure plates. And it's just, like I said, it's not necessary to ever do it. So from my perspective, it's just a giant waste of time and hassle. And I don't even it's not even a fun puzzle. It's kind of interesting to see it, but even if it were available, I wouldn't be showing it to you. I don't know it well enough to teach it to others, and it's just garbage. All right, in any event, so the puzzles that we do have available to us, let's see, the north and south are, north is always combat training, and then the south puzzle is called red light, green light. Now, as much as I have just expressed that I have a disdain for gravity, there are a lot of people that have that level of hatred for red light, green light. And the way red light, green light works is it's just sort of like a basic little maze. And there are these orbs that are floating in the hallways, and those orbs are like stoplights, like on your roads, like red, yellow, green. Green means go, red means stop, yellow means it's about to turn red. When it's green, you can move around safely in the zone. When it's red, you need to stop, otherwise you're going to take like a 1,000-point disintegrate to the face, which is going to one-shot most people. And a few points in that little simple maze, there are going to be some pressure plates that you have to activate to continue. There's going to be lots of trash mobs that doesn't respawn. There's going to be these things called Kuljarg Battle Ragers, which knock you over. They're just really tough, like football player looking skeletons. And they're just sacks of hit points that knock you down, so they can make things tough because they're bouncing you around. You can fight while the light is red, but you can't move. Now, there seems to be a bug that some people, even when they're not moving, get hit by that disintegrate effect or whatever it is. So spell absorption is huge in there. Like if you pale lavender ioun stone, jeweled cloak, whatever, because that will absorb that effect. I heard one person told me that it's taller tunes that are affected by that. Like even if they're not moving, will still be hit by that effect. I don't know if that's true. For all I know, it could be. I've never experienced it, and I don't play any taller tunes, so maybe, it seems reasonable. Maybe somebody watching the live stream right now will know. In any event, it's important to know that some people, even when they're not moving, are going to get hit by that. We are not going to be doing red light, green light. We're going to be doing combat training. So go ahead and go through to the north. This is the puzzle. It's not really a puzzle, but this is what we'll do in our High Lords Guild raids typically. It's the easier one to do. So go ahead and climb to the top of this tower. Don't start fighting anything yet. I want to explain how this works. Everybody go ahead and climb the ladder to the top of the tower. I just want to make sure all the newer folks are up here before I explain what's going on here. Okay, so there's going to be endless respawns up here. Notice that there is the Kuljarg Battle Rager kind of in the middle that has like a black blob around him, like an aura. So some of the spawns will have that black aura on them. Whoever strikes the killing blow on that mob is going to take on that aura. And then about, I don't know, 6-8 seconds later, they're going to explode. And they'll die unless, well, they'll take a lot of damage. They have a lot of hit points, I suppose they won't die. When you take on that aura, if you strike the killing blow and you take on that aura, you need to jump down. Everybody go ahead and jump down. And run at the phylactery down here. And if you explode on the phylactery, it brings down the barrier that's protecting the phylactery right now, and then the phylactery becomes vulnerable. And the phylactery will only become vulnerable for a certain amount of damage, and then the shield will go right back up. So usually you have somebody parked down here. Like, it's great if you can have somebody with like ruin or greater ruin that can, like, if you can get somebody with a strong greater ruin, they can one-shot it if they get a crit. Even on like Epic Elite. So it's best also to take off Featherfall in this part too, because when you're jumping down, if you have Featherfall on, obviously it takes longer to get to the bottom, and if you didn't jump down like instantly, you're probably not going to make it in time. So it's really best to take off Featherfall. Go ahead and oh, Musk, I see you're down here. Do you have Ruin?
Yeah, I got greater ruin.
Okay, awesome. And does anybody know if the bug with Warlocks is still at play here? Like, the Warlock Burst heals it? I don't know if that's still a thing.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
Okay, there was a bug that, you know, Warlocks that do the bursting, like if they burst at the phylactery, it heals it. I don't know if that's still in effect or not. Good to be aware of. Incoming.
I guess I could try it if you want me to.
Yeah, sure. So when you're jumping down, it's great, like, if you're on voice chat, if you let the person down there know that you're incoming, so they know to get ready to... But if you can't, no big deal. Incoming.
No, but there's damage to it.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. Actually, High Lords, I want you to back off from DPSing the trash up here, and let's let the new folks do it. In fact, let's see, Renar, you've already had the aura, so let's let somebody else DPS it. So I want as many people as possible to experience this. So if you haven't yet taken on the aura, go ahead and DPS the Helmed Horror.
So I shouldn't
Okay,
kill it then.
Spice Locks, go ahead and jump down to the north and run at the phylactery. You have Featherfall on, so you might not make it in time.
Yeah.
Yep. That's okay. That's why we're
Yep.
doing this, so you know what's going on. So just go ahead and climb back up to the top, and you guys can start DPSing the next guy here. You just when you go to, like I said earlier, take Featherfall off so you drop faster, and just run straight north at the phylactery and explode on the phylactery.
Ouch.
If you explode on the phylactery, it won't hurt you, but if you explode anywhere else, it will. Notice that there is no death mechanic in here. That like, you don't have to run away from your soulstone twice. There's none of that rigmarole. Alright, we got a couple mobs up with the aura. So if you haven't yet taken on the aura, I want you to go ahead and DPS them. I want only the new folks to DPS those mobs. And if you get the killing blow, you'll take on that aura, and you need to jump down to the north and run at the phylactery.
Incoming.
Dooku, you need to run down to the north. You got the aura, buddy. See, and it already exploded, so you lost it. What you have to do is jump down. You have to jump off the edge to the north and run at the phylactery. And this is just going to keep going on just like this. We're just going to keep getting endless respawns until that phylactery has been destroyed.
Just let me know when you want me to kill it, Junior.
Oh yeah, whenever you're ready. Dooku, jump down to the north, buddy. And run at the phylactery. You gotta take Feather Fall off, otherwise you drop too slow. I know that there was, there's a lot that's happened so far in this raid, but if anybody has any questions up to this point, please let me know. And we're actually, right after this is going to be the end fight. The battle ragers can knock you down if you had knockdown immunity from like Stand Against the Tide and Sentinel, or like if you were an Enlightened Spirit Warlock and you had the, I think it's the level 18 and 8 tier, those would make you immune to the knockdown. Spice Locks, you got the aura again, buddy. You gotta watch for that. But it just exploded. So you gotta really watch for that. And if you're in a pug and you take the aura on and you don't jump down at the phylactery, you're probably gonna get yelled at. And as I've said in weeks past when we do these teaching raids, one of the reasons why we do them is so that you don't get yelled at in a pug. Because when you're the new guy, people love to yell at you. Trust me, I've been there. Hopefully you don't end up in any pugs like that, but I still hear horror stories of people being all yelly and screamy in pug raids. Okay, Dooku, you need to jump down to the north, buddy.
Dooku.
Dooku, do you have sound? I feel like you don't hear us. When you strike the killing blow, Dooku, like you've gotten it a few times, you take of the one that has that aura, you take that on. You need to jump down to the north and run at the phylactery and explode on the phylactery. That's what brings the shield down so that the phylactery can be DPS. Zig's got it incoming. You can take down the phylactery anytime, and then
Okay.
Was I not in the right spot?
Oh, you did it exactly right.
Okay.
Okay, we're done, folks. We're done with this puzzle. You can go ahead and jump down. So this is the point in which the raid locks out, and you don't ever want to go through the portal to finish the second puzzle. You know, if you were doing combat training like we did, or if you were doing red light, green light, or gravity, you don't want to ever go through the end puzzle of that, or the end portal of that puzzle, until your raid leader says it's okay. If you were to jump through, and technically it's once you go through and you move, that's when it's locked. So you could technically go through and not move, but the point is, like, if you're in a pug and you jump through there and you move, and the leader was still trying to get people to come in late, you could get a group that was very upset at you for locking it out. Am I soft to folks? I've actually had some people this last week tell me I'm soft.
Sound okay to me.
Yeah, you just have to, I guess, just turn up the control. Okay, great. Go ahead and step through the portal. And so this is the shrine room, only shrine in the quest, in the raid. And we are right before the end fight. I'm going to go ahead and toss out buffs to everybody after you guys get done resting. I'm going to toss out Spider Skin, Freedom of Movement, and Death Ward, and Fires of Purity weapon buff. But Fires of Purity will interfere with, actually I think any weapon buff will interfere with the natural DR breaking ability of Celestia. So if you're using Celestia, let me know and I won't give that to you. Actually, I don't think there's any reason to give freedom of movement in here, is there? I guess it can't hurt. Okay, I'm going to assign some jobs, and then I'm going to explain how this is going to work. But I'm going to explain it actually after we go in there. But I'm gonna assign some of the High Lords to take care of the jobs, and then so they'll be doing that while I'm explaining to everybody else what's going on and how it's going to work. So just 1 minute. Bolo, you can take care of the Kuljargs and the dragon, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. So the important jobs here are going to be you're going to need to have a dragon tank. And on lower difficulties, you wouldn't really necessarily need to have a dragon tank, but it's nice to. There are also, you know, those Kuljarg Battle Ragers that were like at the top of the tower just now. We're going to have 4 of those, but they're going to be red name versions that have a ton of hit points. 5 of them. And they just respawn if killed, so there's no point in like killing them really. It just, you need to have somebody to take care of them. So there are a variety of methods used to deal with them. Sometimes people will kite them, sometimes people will tank them. If you have a good quality tank, then they can actually tank the dragon and the Kuljargs at the same time. There are some unique challenges to doing that to overcome, because the Kuljargs make it extremely difficult to move. They slow you down, they knock you down, but it definitely can be done, and it's a fun challenge to do. If you join a pug, you probably won't see them have the same person dedicated to both. There's something called the hang method, where they'll have somebody like grab the aggro of the Kuljargs and then hang on a ledge where the Kuljargs can't reach them, and the Kuljargs will just sit there like, you know, basically trying to get to them, but they can't. But one of the nice things about having a tank that can do both is that it frees up somebody. If you have somebody doing the, you know, somebody tanking them or kiting them or whatever, that's one more person that's tied up in a job. Okay, so Bolo's gonna deal with the dragon and the Kuljargs, and then Wooter and Musk, you guys can self-sufficiently do trash, right? It's just normal, so you guys should be just fine.
Yeah.
With your 2,000 hit points. Okay. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and step through. There are going to be a few things that I'm going to want to explain. Bolo's going to go ahead and go over there and grab the dragon aggro. And he's going to take the dragon over to the northeast corner and just sort of face her into the corner. And that way her breath weapon won't hit the party. And another reason it's nice for the tank to be like backed up against the wall is because the dragon can wing buff it, and if he's backed up against the wall, he's not going to get wing buffeted away. And then Musk and Wooter are going to take care of the trash, and I want first everybody else. Well, watch where he takes the dragon first. And if you get the aggro of the Kuljarg Battle Ragers, take it over to Bolo and he can like intimidate off you. I got one incoming for you, Bolo. Looks like you got him. Okay, great. Wooter's bringing another one. Okay, so the folks that are new, I want you to come out to the western edge. I'm going to put my aura on so you can easily see me. I've got my big aura on right now. Everybody come to the western edge who's new and learning the raid. I just want you to see that we're above those zones again. So if you ever needed to go back through and get somebody, just jump down. Or if you fall, for example, you just go back through. And if it was ever an emergency, like if you were facing a wipe, for example, you could start grabbing soul stones and then just jump off, and nothing from the end fight is going to follow you down there. The dragon isn't going to leave this platform. So, you know, you get a really bad lag situation or something, you know, you're facing a wipe, you grab a couple soul stones and jump down. I've been there. The next thing that I want you guys to see is if you look in the south, east, and northeast corners of the zone. So I'm in the southeast corner of the zone. Come over to this dais here. You'll see there's a lever. And then there's a lever over on the dais where the dragon is too. Later on, when we take the dragon down, both of those levers have to be pulled at the same time, and we only have like a 3-second window to do it. So I just want to show you, like, when we're talking about the levers later, those are the levers that we're talking about. I got a call jargon coming. It's really hard for the tank to see, so if you can, like, if you're taking a call jar to them, if you can let them know, like, I got a call jar coming on the left or right, that can be helpful. I also want you to notice that there's these things in a big circle around the center called ward flames. They're like braziers. We're going to be sticking, like, crystals in those later. So I just want you to be aware of where those are. I got a call jar for you on your right. Don't DPS the call jars, Dooku. We want the tank to grab the aggro of them. Okay, so if you have aggro of the call jargs, make sure you take them to the person that's responsible for either tanking them or kiting them, in this case, Bolo. So you would just take them over to the dragon, let them know you're coming in. Musk and Wooter are working on trash. An important point about the trash here is that you're going to occasionally, well, with every group of trash that spawns, there's going to be a Death Lord, a caster. A fleshy caster. And for every one of those Death Lords that's alive in the zone, the dragon has 20% damage reduction and does 40% more damage with its, I think, physical attacks. So the point is, those need to die as fast as possible. So the people that are on trash duty, it's their priority to kill those Death Lords over everything else. So with 20% damage reduction for every living Death Lord in the zone, if there were all 5 of them out, then the dragon would be, like, immune to damage. So it really underscores the point that you need to kill those as fast as possible. Okay. So, everybody else, other than those 3 roles, the tank and the trash people, we should be DPSing the dragon right now. Now, when the dragon gets to 50% health, don't kill these shadows, by the way, folks. I want to show you something. So, when dragon gets to 50% health, and then, like, every 20% thereafter, she's going to spawn shadows. And when the shadows die, you can go ahead and stop DPSing the dragon, guys. In fact, I want all the new folks to come to the center. Don't kill these shadows. So when the shadows die, they're going to spawn a portal. There's one that just spawned. It looks like a black orb on the floor. Like 50% of the time when a shadow dies, they're going to spawn one of those portals. And we need to go, the people that aren't assigned to jobs over here, in other words, if you're not the tank and you're not the trash crew, you need to go through that portal. So when the shadow's up, bring the shadows to center to kill them there, because the portals are only up for like 10 seconds. And you don't have time to, like, look around the zone for them. So if you kill all the shadows in the center, everybody will know where the portals are. So let's go ahead and kill these shadows, and go ahead and click on the portal to go through to the shadow side. Go ahead and click on that black bubble, guys. You might have to manually select it. If you don't make it through, don't panic. But it looks like all the new folks made it through. Perfect. We're going to work around the zone, killing all the trash. There's a beholder and a helmed whore, a couple of them. Let's take those out. Watch the lasers. Let's go to the other side, take out the helmed whore and beholder over there. They won't respawn, but the shadows will continuously respawn. Alright, now what we're going to do is, well, I want to explain how this part works. It's kind of weird, and we're going to show you like the method that pugs use, but we're also going to show you to explain the sort of the theory of this part. So there are 6 different chambers here that are behind these portals. You see there's a portal here in the corner, and then there's a portal here, portal in the other corner. So in the north and southeast corners there are portals. And I also want to show you that in the west there's a portal too. If you run back to the west, I'm going to put my aura on so you can easily see me. This portal in the west goes back to the dragon fight. If you needed to go back there in a hurry, that's how you would get there. And then also, if you look over the edge, just notice that we're above the previous zones on the shadow side, if you ever needed to go back down. Alright, let's go back to these portals in the east. And what I want you to see is that there are actually 6 of these portals, and each of those portals is in a little room. The way that you can open up these other portals is just by moving the laser. Notice that the one portal disappeared and another portal appears. And I can keep moving the laser, and depending on which signal crystal or relay crystal the laser is hitting, that brings up a different portal to a different one of those little chambers. Notice that there's now a portal over here. So there's 3 different portals on this side and 3 different portals on the other side. Total of 6 portals for a total of 6 little rooms. And each of those rooms has a phylactery. 5 of the phylacteries are like decoys, and one of them's the real phylactery that we're trying to destroy to progress the raid. And so what you're going to see pugs do is just send 1 or 2 people at a time into a portal. Like, I'm just going to switch the relay crystal back to this first portal. So they're just going to send 1 or 2 people into the portal to DPS down the phylactery, and then I didn't want you to go in yet, Dooku, but go ahead and beat down that phylactery. Once any phylactery has been destroyed, then all of the other phylacteries, like the sort of the position of the real phylactery, is reset or re-randomized in those 6 different rooms. Now, what you can hypothetically do, and we've done this, like when we used to do this on Epic Normal, back when this first came out, we would do this. You can actually prep all 6 of the phylacteries, and then give the kill order to kill all the phylacteries at the same time, and that would hypothetically give you a 100% chance of getting the correct phylactery. You're looking for the correct phylactery. But the problem is that requires a really high level of coordination and attention, which you're probably not going to find in a pug. And there's such a tight kill window that, like, you have to kill all these phylacteries. You have like a 2-second window, and anybody who's still in a room and didn't take their phylactery down within 2 seconds of the first one going down would get sucked back out into the dragon fight. So because that's a giant pain and can be a really giant waste of time if it's not properly coordinated, what most groups are going to do is just do it one at a time. They're going to send 1 or 2 people at a time into these rooms, kill the phylactery. Once they're out, the next person goes. And so basically what you're doing here, like I said, there's the true phylacteries in one of these 6 rooms. And every time a phylactery goes down, it re-randomizes. So what we're essentially doing is rolling a d6 every time, hoping to get a 6. Hoping it's the right phylactery. But what I want, so that we can see what's here, I want everybody to go ahead and go through this portal. So I want you to just see what's here. And from this point on, we're going to just send 1 person at a time. But see, it's just a little room. There's going to be some trash mobs, and there's a phylactery. This phylactery does not have very many hit points on normal, but on like hard and especially elite, it's has quite a bit more hit points. So you just DPS down the phylactery, you just kill the phylactery. And the trash mobs hit a little bit harder too. And you'll get a DM message. The dragon will say something. I forget exactly what she says if it's the right one. But notice we get sucked out about 2 seconds after the phylactery got down. Now we're back on the dragon side. And so what we're going to do is we're going to DPS the dragon down a little bit more until she spawns shadows again. And then we're going to pull those shadows to the center, just like we did, kill the shadows in the center, and take the portals back to the shadow side. So go ahead and DPS the dragon. If you get the aggro of the call jogs, remember, just take it over to Bolo. If the dragon reaches 0 health, she won't die, she'll just regenerate indefinitely. At least in this point in the raid. Watch the dragon's health. I just want you to see that she will regenerate. Notice that her aggro resets when she went down to 0. So you'd want to give the tank a moment to regain aggro. Okay, we got shadows. Bring the shadows to the center and kill the shadows on the center mound. When you see a portal come up, click on it to go through. We got portals up in the center. Everybody through, except for the trash people in the tank. Okay, it looks like maybe Dooku didn't make it. It's okay. Okay, everybody can go to this same portal that we went in before. And now we're going to send folks in one at a time. So Ziggs, since you're here first, go ahead and go through that portal. Ziggs and Ziggs only. Everybody else wait. And what you're going to do is just kill the phylactery as fast as you can, and let us know when you're out. Let us know when you're back on the dragon side.
On your right, Bolo.
Got it.
In fact, I think what is standard operating procedure is that you're just going to type out in the party chat, so everybody knows. That's what probably pugs are going to expect you to do. Now, if you need help, if you feel like you can't DPS the phylactery down in a reasonable amount of time, just let us know. We can send another person in.
It's almost down. There it goes.
Okay. So she just says, my phylactery, what have you done? That was our signal that that was the right phylactery. So we got lucky. Second try. Notice that if you're still on the shadow side, notice that the barrier in the center came down. And there's all these shards of the phylactery. Go ahead and pick up one of them. You can only carry one. Pick up a shard of the phylactery and then go back through the western portal to this dragon side, to the light side. And now we're going to stick those shards of the phylactery in these ward flames that I showed you, these braziers that are in the big circle around the center. And we need to light all these up with the crystals. So we won't have gotten enough crystals to light them all up this time, so we'll just DPS the dragon down until she spawns shadows, and the same thing, we'll go through. We won't have to do the phylactery stuff again, though. Where's Dooku at? You're way out here. Once we go through, we just grab some more shards and then come back. So we got shadows up in the center. Portal's up. Go ahead and go through the portal. Grab a shard of the phylactery and then go right back through that western portal. And by the way, if you're doing this on hard or elite, there's nothing different about the raid. It's just, everything has more hit points, everything hits a little bit harder. But there aren't any new mechanics on the higher difficulties. Okay, it looks like we are lit. So what we do now is the tank will bring the dragon to the center. And the dragon has to go down on that center mound. In order for us to complete, she has to go down on the center mound. Dooku, are you there? I sent you a raise. And, you know, it can be difficult, you know, if you're newer to this, to know for sure, to be able to tell for sure if the dragon is actually on the center mound. So what you want to do is look at her targeting circle. If you hard target her, you see she's got the little targeting circle underneath her. If any part of that targeting circle is on any part of this center mound with all the rubble, then she's considered to be on the center. So what I want us to do is I'm going to assign 2 people to each of the levers. So let's see, how about Ziggs and Spice Locks? I want you guys to come to this southeast lever. And if you can range the dragon from here, that's great, but try not to get aggro. When she goes down, you guys got to pull this lever. Okay, and you don't, if you remember, if you get the aggro or the call jargs, you don't want to DPS them. You got to take them to the person who's responsible for it.
He's knocking me down. It will follow me.
Yeah, they're kind of a pain. Okay, let's stop dragon DPS. Got a call jar coming at you. Right behind you. Looks like you got it. Okay, let's have Renar and Alina come to the northeast lever. And if you can range the dragon from here, that's great. Just make sure that you're not like many-shotting the dragon and pulling the aggro. So like I said, when the dragon goes down, you need to pull this lever, and we'll tell you when. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, let's stop all DPS on dragon. So I want to explain this a little bit more. Because here's a part where pugs, I think, make a mistake. Is they're just going to assign 1 person for each lever. And if you get interrupted when you try to pull it, you're not going to have time to try to pull it again. And then the dragon's going to regenerate, and you're going to have to do the beatdown again. So what we like to do as a fail-safe is have 2 people assigned to the levers, and that way they both pull, and hopefully 1 will get it. But then have another person that throws AoEs, like I'm going to put firewalls on these levers. That way if trash spawns on you guys, they'll aggro on me because they'll hit the firewall. So important point here is if trash spawns near you, don't aggro it. You know, let it just aggro on me. So let's go ahead and start DPSing the dragon again. Get ready on levers, guys. Once the dragon gets low, she's going to drop, and you need to pull the levers immediately. Get ready on levers. All you're to do is to pull that lever when we tell you. And she has to go down the center. If you see her go off the center mound, you have to stop DPS immediately. And so an important point here is you wouldn't want to like dot her up, for example, because she can go off the center mound really quick. But you can go ahead and DPS the dragon. Get ready on levers, guys. Get ready on levers. She's almost there. She goes down before she hits 0. Get ready. Pull, pull, pull. Hold the levers.
Pull.
Great, that's it, and that's all.
Nice.
Now, if the levers hadn't been pulled within that, few second window, she would just get right back up. She would regenerate to 25% or half, and you'd have to beat her down again, and you just would have to do that again. You'd have to pull the levers as soon as she went down. Okay, just 2 chests on normal. I think you get 3 on hard and 5 on elite. But the new folks, you guys can go ahead and do the honors on the chest. Congratulations on your first Temple of Deathwyrm, for those of you it's your first. If you have any questions about this raid, now's the time to ask. And we're going to be doing Fire on Thunder Peak next. And that is a much, much simpler raid. It won't take nearly as long as this one.
No, that was cool. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. The Shadow Dragon Phlogistons that you may get, I'll give mine to the low roller, by the way, for that D99. Bolo's going to give his to the high. I'll give mine to the low. These are used to craft your Thunder Forged Tier 3, the Shadow Dragon Phlogistons. And so if you're new, you probably want to roll on that. The D99. Well, I think Aliana is going to get mine. I said I would give mine to the low roller. There you go, Allie.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And
Thank you.
nice roll, Ziggs. Does anybody have any questions about this raid before we recall out? I think Dooku is AFK, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run his soul stone to the shrine room, and that way whenever he gets back he'll be able to self-raise.
Do we finish out?
Yep, go ahead and finish out. If you're watching the live stream, remember I said a few times that you can just go back through. You can just jump down and go back through the same way. And this way he'll be able to, whenever he gets back, he'll be able to raise himself and get some treasure.
Do we need
Recall
to
a
go all the
second
way
time?
back out?
Yeah.
Yep, go ahead and recall a second time. Just go through the portal, Dooku. And make sure you turn in, don't forget to turn it in to Thela here. And if you haven't picked up Fire and Thunder Peak, you're just going to talk to Vaklos. But let's go ahead and take a few minutes if you guys want to grab a drink or take a quick bathroom break. Why don't you go ahead and do that now? And then in maybe about 3 or 4 minutes we'll get started on Fire on Thunder Peak.
going back in, or are you staying out here?
Yep, whenever you're back, go ahead and talk to the person at the gate and say that you want to go to the mountain summit.
This one also on normal.
Let's go ahead and do this one on hard.
Oh, well, okay. Oh, okay. I mean, some of us are in, right?
I'm sorry, what, Ziggs?
We're in? Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. We're not in yet. We're just at the entrance.
Yep, go ahead and step in whenever you're ready. Hey dude, would love some help if you're available.
I'm a little over level, but as long as you're okay with that.
I think 154 hit points would be probably good enough. Or yeah, if you could switch, dude, that'd be awesome.
Sweet. All right, I'll be right back.
Thanks, buddy. We're just stepping in.
Cool.
Okay, so everybody that's learning this raid is in. So, like I said, this is a much simpler raid than the last one. In fact, the whole raid is the zone that you see before us right now. Just one big football field. And this raid is just, it's basically a beatdown raid, but there are some unique mechanics to it that make it a little bit more than just a straight beatdown. Once we step forward and we talk to the artifact that's in the center, you can see it's shining light up to the sky. That's what will get the raid started, and the raid will lock once you talk to the artifact. Nobody will be able to enter the raid at that point.
I'll be right there.
Yeah, take your time. I gotta explain things to the new folks. And once we talk to the artifact, there'll be 2 red dragons that fly down, and those are the raid bosses. And ideally, you would have a tank to deal with each of those dragons, but in pugs, you might not find that. You know, you might have people that are just assigned to kite the dragons. And the way it's going to work is the dragons are only going to be able to be DPS down so much sort of during each phase of the raid or each step of the raid. And once a dragon is DPS to a point where it can't take any more damage, its skin will turn to, like, it'll look like lava, and you'll hear us say, like, the south dragon is magma, everybody go north. And we're going to be switching back and forth. Like, the dragon DPS group is going to be switching back and forth between the north and south dragon and DPSing them down as much as possible, and then switching back to the other dragon, DPSing that one down, and then switching back to the other dragon, while the tanks hold the dragons in the north and south. It's very important that the dragons are kept separate. If the dragons are too close, and they don't have to be, like, super close. If they're, like, within half the zone of each other, then they're pretty much immune to damage. So they really need to be kept at the south, north, and south ends. And then there's going to be trash that constantly respawns throughout the entire raid. And so we're going to have some people assigned to trash duty. Hey dude, thanks again for coming. I had guild chat off. I always we're live streaming, so I always turn off guild chat during the live stream.
That's probably not a bad idea.
In case somebody says something inappropriate.
Yeah. I.e., probably not a bad idea to turn it off.
We're just inside Fire on Thunder Peak, so come on in. I'm just explaining things. So, like I said, the trash is going to continuously respawn throughout the entire raid. So there's going to be people dedicated to trash for the entire raid. All they're going to do is kill trash. And trash, it just endlessly respawns. And some of the trash mobs are, lower hit point mobs like the skeletons and the hellhounds, and some of the mobs have a lot more hit points, like the salamanders and the magma brutes. And it all is pretty much going to respawn almost right away. So it's sort of just like a numbers game. It's really about just keeping the number of trash mobs down so they don't become a problem for the rest of the party, and so the dungeon alert doesn't spike. So you really want to, if you're doing trash, generally speaking, you want to focus on that littlest stuff first, just to keep the numbers down. And then the magma brutes, which are like these lava elementals. They look like earth elementals, but like they're made out of lava. They're just walking sacks of hit points, and they will respawn immediately. So there really isn't any value in trying to kill them. If you're on, if just one of the trash people just kites them around, they're pretty slow. If you can just keep moving, and they don't really do that much damage to you. But the important point is, don't spend resources trying to kill the magma brutes, because they're just going to respawn anyways. So once we DPS the dragons down to a certain point, when one of them's going to fly up, and then another one's going to fly up, and then there's these two gargantuan magma elementals that will appear, and they're called the Volcanic Devastator and Volcanic Annihilator. And the dragons will be gone during that part of the raid, and we just need to DPS them down. So basically at that point we can collapse everybody into one big pile, the trash crew and the DPS crew, and we just beat everything down. And then once the Volcanic and the Volcanic Annihilator and Devastator are destroyed, then the dragons come back, the tanks reestablish aggro, and then the DPS crew again moves back and forth between the dragons until the dragons get taken down to 50% health each. Once the dragons get down to 50% health, we won't be doing any more dragon DPS for the rest of the raid. The tanks will just hold them in the north and south. Once the dragons get to 50%, the artifact in the center will become vulnerable. And we'll be able to DPS the artifact down, by about 20% of its health. And then a shield will come up for about 60 or 90 seconds. And at that point in the raid, like I said, we're not going to do any more dragon DPS. At that point in the raid, the entire party, except for the two dragon tanks, will be working on trash and the artifact only. There is absolutely no value in DPS in the dragons, so this is a mistake that a lot of pugs will make. Is you'll see people that continue to DPS the dragons at that point, which is a giant waste of time. One, because the dragons will automatically drop to 5% health when the artifact is destroyed, and two, if you're DPSing the dragons at that point, you could potentially pull them off of the tank. And these dragons, at that point in the raid, will have this buff called Artifact Overdraw, which you can tell if they have it by examining them, by looking at their buffs. And they do 400% their normal damage, and they could pretty much one-shot anybody with less than about 1,500 hit points if you're on Epic Elite. They're going to do less damage, obviously, on normal and hard. So you really don't want to tangle with the dragons at that point. We're going to have... Ravon, you can tank a dragon, right? We're just doing Epic Hard.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to have tanks dealing with the dragons. But it's pretty common to have people at that point just to kite the dragon. So just letting you know, you might see that too. So like I said, once we get the dragons down to 50% health, we're only going to be working on the artifact and trash for the rest of the raid, and the artifact will become vulnerable with DPS down by 20%. Shield will come back up. We work on trash until the artifact becomes vulnerable again, and we just keep doing that until the artifact is destroyed. The artifact blows up. It's going to do a lot of damage to anybody standing around it, so you want to not be near it when it blows. But it's a great way to troll your friends and guildies, to tell them, like, oh, you got to be right next to the artifact when it goes down, and then you can watch them blow up and die, and it's pretty funny. We won't be doing that to any of you, though. And then when the artifact finally blows up, the dragons, like I said, will drop to 5% health, and then we just finish them off, and then the raid is over. So basic beatdown, moving back and forth between the dragons. There's a couple people assigned to trash. What we like to do is, if it's normal, we have 2 people assigned to trash. Hard, we do 3. If it's epic elite, we do 4 people assigned to trash. I'm going to talk us through it too, but does anybody have any questions before we start? I'm just going to take a minute to type in the jobs. Okay, so our north dragon tank is going to be Ravan. Our south dragon tank is going to be Bolo. On trash, I'm just going to do 2 people, Musk and Wooter. I'm sure you guys will be fine just doing trash, the 2 of you. But if you feel like you need help, let me know. We can put somebody else on trash. I can help out a little bit too. And then all the new folks here will be on the dragon DPS crew. And everybody's going to start south. The trash won't spawn right away. The trash doesn't spawn until you get like to the second iteration of Dragon DPS. Any questions before we start? Okay, let's get some buffs. Alright, the raid is now locked. All the new folks, everybody basically except for the north tank can head over here to the south. Let the tank, let Bolo get aggro the dragon. And, you know, he'll let us know when we can start DPSing the dragon. And by the way, for those of us that are hanging out in the south right now, up here on, like, right where we're at, this is where the trash spawns from. So if you, for whatever reason, if you don't want to aggro the trash, you wouldn't want to be hanging out in this area. Like, you definitely wouldn't want to have, like, the tank holding the dragon over here, because then the trash would aggro on the tank.
Alright, you can come in on the dragon.
Okay, DPS crew can start DPSing the dragon. And we're just going to keep DPSing the dragon until its skin turns to magma. Okay, south is magma, DPS crew north. Ravon took it down already. Okay, so DPS crew go back south. Okay, south is magma, DPS crew north. Notice that trash is now spawning, and the trash people will break off and take care of that. The DPS crew can go north and start DPSing the North Dragon. Okay, dragons went up in the air. Now we're going to get the Volcanic Annihilator and Devastator. Just bring everything together, all trash, and both the Annihilator and Devastator. Just bring it all together, you know, in the middle-ish. For what it's worth, it sometimes can get a little laggy. And, you know, we used to separate them when we would do this in guild raids, because we found that if we separate them, it wouldn't be as laggy. But it hasn't been much of a problem lately, so we just bring everything together anymore. Okay, dragons are back. Let's let the tanks have a second to establish aggro. DPS crew can just go to the south, but wait for Bolo to say that it's okay for us to DPS the dragon. And remember, if you're part of the DPS crew, don't hang out where the trash spawns.
Alright, come on in on the dragon.
If you're new, I want you to, well, actually not yet. Dragon's almost at 50. Okay, Dragon's magma. DPS grew north. Okay, we are done DPSing the dragons. For the rest of the raid, the tanks will just hold the dragons in the north and south. Everybody else is on the artifact and trash. The artifact is vulnerable right now, so go ahead and DPS the artifact until the shields come up. The shield's up. Now everybody works on trash except for the two tanks. Everybody works on trash. And in about 60 seconds or 90 seconds, the artifact will become vulnerable again. If you are new and learning this raid, I want you to go get a piece of the dragons. I want you to go get in front of the dragons. Don't DPS it, because I don't want you to pull aggro away. But I want you to go get in front of the dragon, and I want you to take some hits from the dragon, because I want you to see what that's like. Right now, the South Dragon has the big artifact overdraw buff. Notice they hit pretty hard.
Ow!
Exactly. I wanted you to experience that. Which emphasizes, you know, how important it is to not grab these dragons aggro away from the tank and start dragging these dragons all over the zone. Because, especially on like Epic Elite, they're just gonna plow through so many tunes. It's like a bulldozer. Incoming, Ellie. If you want to experience it again, feel free. I promise you that Bolo and Ravon won't mind. Oh, did you get that raise, Allie?
Didn't seem to.
Incoming. Probably best not to take it near the dragon. And we're just waiting for the artifact to become vulnerable. Remember what I said about the magma brutes? You know, they go down pretty quickly on hard, but on elite they do have a lot of hit points. So you know, there's not any value in killing them because they just respawn right away. Artifact is vulnerable. And shields back up. Now we go back to trash. Gotcha. Was your life flashing before your eyes, Renar? This is a lull in the raid now, so if any of the live streamers have questions, if any of the people watching the live stream have questions. Also curious to know how many people watching the live stream have never done this raid or are very new to it. Earlier I mentioned how there's no value in DPS in the dragons at this point because once the artifact goes down, the dragons will drop to 5% health no matter what they were at. And if the dragons are taken down too low at this point, they'll just, I don't know if they regenerate or they just become immune. Like, look at the North Dragon right now and notice that the North Dragon's magma. Artifact. And if you'd like to, when the artifact's about to go down, which is going to be the next iteration, if you're new, I encourage you to go stand next to it and to see what it's like when it explodes. We'll raise you, it's no big deal. But, you know, like I said in the last raid, I want you guys to see what happens when sort of things go wrong, when things don't work as intended. So you know what to expect when you go into a pug. Or know what to expect if you know, you were standing too close to the artifact or whatever. Artifact is going to become vulnerable here any second. It's vulnerable. If you want to get on it to see what happens, I'm going to get on it too, see if I can survive it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same. Yeah, it's hard. That's about it.
Hell yeah. Okay, notice that the dragons will
I
drop to
survived
5%
out.
health. Go ahead and kill the South Dragon first. Everybody on the South Dragon. Go ahead and kill the South Dragon. When the South Dragon goes down, switch to the North Dragon. The trash crew will stay on trash at this point, just to keep it out of everybody's hair. Okay, both dragons are dead, and that completes the raid. If there was any leftover trash, you would just take it to the center, to where the chests are, and you just beat it down there. Why don't we have chests? What the hell is going on? There they are.
Still oh, there.
Somebody's playing a joke on us here. So perhaps 10% of the time, maybe 5% of the time, trash will continue to respawn even after it's complete. It shouldn't, but sometimes it does. It's just something to look for. If that happens, it can make it really challenging for the final few people to get out if they don't have, like, teleport, for example.
Yeah, someone got the runes, Tim. That's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna put up parole.
Oh, that's a real nice shield. It's a real nice shield for Druid too. That's what I like to use on this tune. It's made of stone, so Druids can use.
One if anybody wants it.
It's not a bad shield for a warlock either.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. I don't think I have one on this guy yet. Oh, somebody got the ward token. That's pretty cool.
Wow, we got 2 named items. That's pretty good. It's a pretty stingy raid.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like 376 is the high on the D500 for the Fire Dragon Phlogiston. There you go, Renar.
I'll go ahead and, since nobody's rolling the D99, I'll just give mine to Ziggs, who rolled the low.
Nobody else for the shield?
I'd roll it. but
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
If there are any final questions in the live stream, I'm going to be ending it in just a few minutes. Let me know.
You're welcome.
And if there are any final questions about anything, any of the raids tonight, let me know. But that's all. Those are all the activities we had planned for tonight. And congratulations.
Well, that was great. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Congratulations on your first Thunderhome raids completions.
Thanks, Ginger.
How do you sign up in Wiki? You want to be able to edit the DDO Wiki? Is that what you're asking? You're very welcome, Spyfox. I think there are instructions there. I sign up for Quest. If you're asking how you sign up for the teaching raids, I post details every week in the Sarlona forum, and you're just gonna send me a tell, and I'll sign you up. And I'll just ask you a couple basic questions like, are you flagged? Have you done it before? Oh, you're very welcome, Jim. I'm glad you enjoyed it. You're very welcome. Last opportunity for questions. Don't forget to turn it in, guys. Okay, thanks again for coming, everybody. I'm gonna break. You guys have a great night, and I hope to see you again in the future.
Thanks again.
I'll be posting details for next week's teaching raids on Monday. See you guys. Alright, I'm just gonna look at the live stream, see if there are any last questions. Doesn't look like it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. That is all for tonight's live stream. You guys have a great night.